Thank you, Whitledge Tree Service, for sponsoring this episode. For local residential and commercial tree care, specializing in hazardous tree removals, utilizing two of the largest tree cranes in the tri-state, turn to Whitledge Tree Service. Thank you again. Welcome back to Devinitely Talking. This is the 6th episode. I'm here with Lauren Alston. She's the owner of the Brass Ring and ours as well. So, Lauren, if you don't mind, would you maybe want to go in and talk just a little bit about yourself? And
Sure. I am a 41-year-old mom of 2 children. We have a 15-year-old, 18-year-old. Been married for almost 18 years. This is my 3rd business that we've owned. So since I was 21.
That's awesome. So, for those that maybe don't know you, you've been through a very long and extensive career, kind of jumping back and forth between things. So would you maybe want to give we have plenty of time, so go a decent rundown of kind of where you started to where you are now?
Yeah, sure. So I started off in high school wanting to be a nurse. So I went to school to be a nurse. When I was 18, I had a really bad car wreck. So as I was going into the summer of nursing school, my car wreck happened, and I decided that being in a hospital is not what I want to do the rest of my life. So I did not end up finishing high school or college. Sorry, I finished high school, not college. I ended up buying a bar when I was 21 years old. And I ran the bar for 6 years on my own until we had 2 children and got married. And then we decided that having a bar is not probably the perfect job for a mom. So I stayed home and became a stay-at-home mom for about 6 months to 8 months. Found out that was not for me either because I like to work. So I went into direct sales, which is party planning, things like that, where you sell items to people in their homes. So I found a company called 31. And within 6 months, I was their top seller in the whole company, which was like 300,000 people here in Hobstadt. I was able to market myself in the parties and was able to grow to the top 10 seller of the company, which ended up making me able to design and help pick out the catalogs. I worked directly with the owner of the company, 31, for a couple of years. We would fly to her house, fly to their summer house, do photo shoots, plan the patterns for the next catalog that came out. Got pretty intense with the 31. Grew a team of about 100, 150 people. After that, I got headhunted by a company called Park Lane Jewelry from Chicago. They found out I was doing so well with the 31 purses that they came down and offered me a senior director job for their company to launch the jewelry in Indiana. So I did that for about 5 years. They came down, gave me a free Mercedes, tons and tons of free jewelry, and a huge paycheck, and was like, if you can launch this company, we would greatly appreciate it. So we started doing that. I did that for, like I said, 5 years. And then once the kids started getting into school, I was working a lot of weekends, nights. So I decided that's not what I wanted to do since they were in school all day long. I wanted to be able to be home with them in the evenings. So I went into the corporate world, which was at medical staffing. It was a travel nurse agency. I never knew what it was. I actually knew the lady who owned the company for years and had no idea what she did. And somehow at my sister's wedding, she was telling my brother what she does for a living and offered him a job as a travel nurse recruiter. He was telling me what it was and what he was going to get paid. I was like, I could probably do that job. So I called the lady and I was like, hey, you're hiring my brother, but you should hire me as well. Told her why she should hire me, and she did. So the very next week, I started being a travel nurse recruiter. It was a $35,000 a year job. I thought it was awesome. We got commission. I worked there about 4 months and was one of their top recruiters for headcount. So they quickly offered me a job as assistant manager, then as a manager after that. After about 2 years working there, they sold, and I got hired into the new company who bought us, and they hired me as a director to run the Evansville office. After a year there, they offered me a regional director position where I ran 5 offices. I had one in Hawaii, one in North Carolina, one in Nashville, 2 in Evansville, and one in, what was the other one? I can't even remember. I think it was North Carolina.
Wow, so they were spread out all over the place.
They were all over the place, yes. So we did that, and then they got bought out again. And after that, things changed. The way they treated the nurses, the employees, things just changed. It was very, very corporate at that point. and I was working a lot of hours, making the most money I've ever made in my life. But the hours were crazy, and how they were treating my employees was not working for me. So my husband and I decided that as soon as I found something better, probably not as good as pay because I got paid so much, but if I found something better that would make me happier, that I could quit that job and move into something else. So I searched for a couple of months, couldn't find nothing. And I was like, I got to go back to my roots of what I like. And what I like is people and serving people, doing stuff for Gibson County and owning something right here in Gibson County. So that's how we ended up with the Brass Ring. After about a month of owning the Brass Ring, we found out Ars Cafe was for sale. This is my most favorite restaurant in the whole entire world. So we made an offer on it 1 month after owning the Brass Ring. And then we acquired the pizza kitchen there in Hobsot in the Brass Ring. We took it over in the following June. And now we're getting ready to launch Sugar on Main, which is an ice cream store and a food truck the next couple months. So
you have a very busy schedule in the next couple
we
months.
have a very busy schedule, and it's just been a very long journey of employment, which got me back to where my roots are, which
I'm happy to hear
this.
because ours and the Brass are awesome right now. I love both to death.
Thank you.
So how did you kind of go in a little bit more into how you came to owning both the Brass and then a month later ours?
Okay. So we were looking for something. Restaurant is my favorite thing. Catering is what I love to do, and event planning is my absolute favorite. But at that time, it was like in October of 23, there was nothing for sale that I knew about that would fit those things. And I had to be able to make money instantly, because if I was giving up a 6-figure salary, that was going to destroy our family if I just walked away from it. So we had to be able to make money right away. And the quickest thing I could think of was a food truck, because nothing was for sale that I could find. Not even the Brass Ring was for sale. So I was like, let's do a food truck. We can cater. We can get a liquor license. We can do everything we want to do in a smaller scale and then grow from there. So we pick out a brand new food trailer from Nashville, get ready to pay for it. And I'm like, I'll call the health department, figure out what we got to do next. And he's like, you have to have a commissary kitchen for this food truck. And I'm like, I don't know what that is. He's like, you have to basically have a restaurant let you use their kitchen to wash your dishes, prepare your food, blah, blah, blah. I had no idea. And I was like, well, crap, that's not going to work out for me because I don't have a restaurant that's going to let me do that. So we started brainstorming, and we live 1 block from the Brass Ring. And Monica, the old Brass Ring owner, and her and I get along very well. And we've always joked for years that if she ever sold, it would be to me. So I went to her and I asked her and her husband if I could rent their kitchen at the Brass for our commissary kitchen for this food trailer, right? And he was like, yes, you absolutely can. He was like, and then in 2 years, you can buy the Brass Ring from us. And I was like, okay. Laughed it off. I walked home, told my husband, I was like, they said we could do it, but that we could also buy the Brass in 2 years. I said, I'm going to walk back down there and tell them we'll buy it tomorrow. And he's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. I said, let's do it. He's like, okay. Within 30 minutes, we decided we're going to buy the Brass Ring. We walked back down there and I'm like, Rick, I think we're just going to offer you to buy the Brass Ring instead of doing the food truck. And he's like, are you serious? And I'm like, only if you are. And he was like, yeah, I think we'll do it. So him and his wife got together. We got together. We had dinner. We decided on a price and we moved forward on the Brass Ring. We made our offer in October, but it took about 3 months to get the banking and all their finances in line to get it to work.
Paperwork, stuff like that.
Yeah, it took forever. So then we did that. And then my credit card guy was like, hey, I know you just bought this Brass Ring. I know it's busy. I know you're very busy right now. However, your most favorite restaurant is about to go for sale. And he's like, I just think you should know that. And I was like, ours? He's like, yeah. I was like, well, we can't let that place sell without us trying to buy it. So I called my banker and I said, tell me no so I can go to sleep. I was like, I know you're not going to let me buy ours as well because I just bought the Brass. But I need you to tell me I can't do it so that way I can quit thinking about it because all I want to do is buy ours. And he's like, no, you can do it. He's like, if you want to do it, we'll back you. So within 30 days, they backed us in not only the Brass Ring, but also purchasing ours. However, ours is a lot bigger entity, so it was a lot more work, a lot more bank stuff that was needed. So it took us from March 1st all the way up until the last day of August to purchase this place because there was just so much moving pieces that had to take care of. So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
So obviously, you are not the original owners of both of those restaurants.
Not,
so
no.
What have you done to come in and change these restaurants and kind of make it your own and not just what it was before you had owned it?
With the Brass, I think Rick and Monica, the old owners, did a great job. They cleaned it up pretty good and got more people in there than what used to be in there. But what we did was we came in, cleaned it up even more. We made set hours, so it doesn't matter if there's no one in there. We're going to be open guaranteed hours that we post no matter what. Doing that builds consistency. Building consistency builds clientele because people know if I get off work at Toyota early, 11 o'clock at night, we know the brass ring is going to be open. Or we know if we go out Sunday at 9 o'clock at night and we're hungry, we can go get food at the brass ring. Beforehand, a lot of restaurants around here, they're not consistent with that. They like to close early if they're not busy, whatever. We like to make sure that we're open. Unless there's some horrible thing like bad weather or whatever, we're open our set hours. So we really, really worked on consistency. And then we got out in the community and we're like, hey, we can cater for you. We can offer this. We can do these box meals for your company. We can deliver food to you. We took the pizza business over finally. Rick ran it for a few months after we had bought the brass ring, and then we ended up buying it as well. We had a pizza specialist come in and teach us how to make the best pizza. So we improved all the toppings, got the best ingredients. We work with our local food people like Dr. Emerson with his Wagyu beef and Daywigs with their meat. And we work with Rexings with their meat. And we try to stay local and we build that network with all of our people. And I think doing that, then those people have helped spread our name for us. We have cleaned up the brass ring. We painted it a light color so it's not dark and dingy when you walk in. People who have lived here their whole life never stepped foot in the brass ring, and now they eat in there almost every week. So
I can attest to that. Until probably about a year ago, I had never stepped foot in the brass.
Yeah.
I know I actually drove people on my golf cart during Summerfest
Yes.
there for a little extra money. But yeah, I had that about summer last year. It was the first time I've ever been there, and it honestly blew me away. And I'm happy I was actually able to go. I honestly probably go there now more than I do Carriage Inn.
Yeah, we've got really good food. It's just good bar food. My kids always laugh. They're like, people think this is a restaurant, Mom. It's not a restaurant, it's a bar. But we've turned it into a restaurant. I feel like we have got really quality food. We always have a $10 lunch special, so we try to really be affordable because things are so expensive now. We try to watch our costs so that people can afford to come in there and take out their family to eat. We're not heavily staffed. We have a bartender usually and maybe one waitress on the weekends. We try to keep the employee overhead low so that way our costs can be down for the customer. And it seems to work out pretty well. Sometimes newcomers might come in and get mad that there's not 3 waitresses running around, but we really try to do that just so we can keep our costs down for the customer. As far as ours goes, we bought it because we wanted to cater. We outgrew the brass ring kitchen very quickly. And we knew we love ours. We love the loft. We wanted to be able to host parties here and do a lot of catering. So all we've done so far with ours is we've had all the same employees have stayed. We've literally just advertised and have got into the community more and offered catering and events space for them that makes their lives a lot easier. So people can walk in here, host their family Christmases, they can host funerals, they can host weddings, anything they want, and we take off all the work for them. They can walk in and just relax and have a good time and then walk out, and we clean everything up for them. And that has really helped people.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm about to say, I've been here for swim banquets. I've been here for a lot of other things, and it's always just a great time to come in ours. And that's another one of the restaurants around here that I call it kind of a bit of a hidden gem, but it's not really a hidden gem. And there's a lot of those restaurants across Gibson County, and they really make it what it is. And it's just awesome to see. So speaking of food, what is your favorite thing you serve at both the Brass Ring and ours?
Oh, gosh. Let's see. The best thing I think here at ours, well, obviously desserts. I got to stay away from the stupid desserts. We have the best desserts in town. But my favorite thing to eat here is our bread and mushrooms. That is my most favorite. I eat those constantly. I absolutely love them. If it's for an actual meal, it's the chicken Florentine, which has got the best homemade Alfredo sauce. Better than Olive Garden, better than anywhere. It's delicious. The Brass Ring, I'm going to have to say probably the brass chicken sandwich, which is our best selling sandwich we've got. And then, of course, the Dawn Pizza, which has every topping on it. Those are my 2 go-tos when I'm there.
Awesome. So we're going to switch into a little segment I call Any and Everything. So it's just some kind of funner questions just to kind of spark your imagination. So what is a useless talent you have?
Oh, God, a useless talent that I have got. I don't even know that I have any talents. I don't even know. Let me think. I don't know what one would be. Like, give me an example, like a useless talent.
I don't know. This is something I'm just trying to ask. Let me think.
I'm trying to think. I don't even know that I have any. Like, I don't.
Like whistling.
I can whistle. Not very well. I want to think of something good though, but I can't. Top of my head. I
We'll
don't really know.
circle
You're
back.
gonna skip to that
We'll
one. Yeah,
circle
I'm
back. We'll
sorry. I'm
circle
not good on
back.
that one.
So, what is your favorite sport?
I love hockey. Hockey is the only
Hockey.
sport I like to watch.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's your favorite team?
The Blues.
Blues?
Yep.
I'm a Florida Panthers guy.
Are you?
I'm a Florida Panthers
I
guy.
love hockey. I don't know why. When Olivia was born, we came across it, and I love it.
I say we have a family cousin that lives down there, and we've kind of gotten hooked on them, so we like them.
It's a good sport.
If you could be any piece of furniture, what would you be and why?
Any piece of furniture? Well, probably the sofa, because that's the best piece I think in the whole house. That's the one that gets used the most in our house, at least.
Alrighty. What is your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Butter pecan.
Butter pecan. That was quick. You had that one ready.
Well, yeah, we're about to open an ice cream store up, so I've been thinking about this for weeks.
What's something not everyone knows about you?
I used to race go-karts. For a few years, I raced at SeaTick in Princeton, a caged go-kart.
Huh?
My little brother, who's 6 years younger than me, he raced, and I raced, and my dad raced. Every Friday, every Saturday night, we raced. I was pretty good at it for a while.
I say, were you any good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you win any?
I won a couple. I actually used to race Kyle Cummins. Obviously, he always beat me because he's the best. But yeah, used to do that.
Huh, that's awesome. So, kind of switching back into some more serious questions.
Okay.
What are the advantages of working in a bigger company, more corporate, versus kind of working for your own self, being your own boss, kind of with things at the R's and the brass ring?
The advantage probably for me would be like your guaranteed benefits. Like I knew I was salary, so I knew I was getting X dollars every week, unless they fired me, obviously. I was getting that big paycheck every Friday. I knew I had health insurance, and I knew I had a 401k, and I knew I had all these things guaranteed for me for a corporate job. Versus, when you're a small business owner, you have to find either your spouse has to carry the insurance with their job, or you have to find your own insurance. You're not guaranteed money. I mean, if people don't come in here, I'm not guaranteed what I'm going to make tomorrow. So everything is reliable on us, my family. How hard we work and what we do is how much comes in. So I think that's probably the big one for us.
Gotcha. Do you prefer working for, obviously you say like doing this, but do you prefer working in the kitchen or like kind of doing the more managerial role, kind of just like who's working where?
That's my favorite. I like the event planning. I like talking to the people. I like coordinating all the caterings. I like to be the one that walks out when you're here eating at the restaurant and ask if you need more drinks, or how was it today, or what can we do better, or greeting you at the door. I will cook. I'm a really good cook, and I can cook. Do I love it? No. I like to be out here with the people. Though sometimes I like hanging out there with my kitchen crew, but I really, really enjoy being out with the public.
I'd say that's nice.
That's my favorite.
I'm a people person. I love to talk.
Yeah.
I love meeting new people. This is honestly why I started doing this, and it's just I can really attest to what you're saying there. It's kind of hard to keep me working because I'll start talking. So.
Right. That's exactly how they get mad at me in the kitchen, because I'll be back there sauteing, and I'll go talk to a customer and be gone for 25 minutes. And they'll be like, okay, we're picking up your slack, Lauren. So.
Gotcha. So what are some of your, obviously you have changed things a lot at both the restaurants. Mm-hmm. So what are some of your further future plans for both?
Like I said, we got a food truck just the other day. It's not even legal yet. Like, we still have to have the health department come and scope it out for us. That's going to be a big one for us because it is a full-fledged food truck, which means like we bought it from a KFC franchise. Mm-hmm. So it is literally a restaurant on wheels. It's got fryers, it's got grills, it's got the hood system, it's got everything a restaurant has inside of it. So our goal is to be able to take that, use it for the brass ring, use it for ours, use it for the ice cream and the pizza. So we can literally take our restaurant to any town, any of the restaurants to any town, and offer most of our menu. So that's a big one for us. Then the next big one I think is going to be our brick house across the street. We want to make that into something, whether it be a bourbon bar, whether it be a coffee shop or a boutique. That is going to be the next big 5-year project that we've got going on. Obviously, parking at the brass ring is a big project we've got going on to make it, we've got where people are parking 6, 7, 8 blocks away to walk to the restaurant. So we're hoping that we're going to level one of our houses that we bought on Main Street and make that into a parking lot. And then we're going to also be, in the next 5 years, growing a catering kitchen so that it doesn't affect any of our businesses. Because right now we are literally catering in the same kitchens that we cook for our customers. So when we're busy on a Friday night and we have a 300-person catering at Friday night, we are literally cooking around each other.
Yeah.
So it's going to be nice to have a built catering kitchen.
A set catering kitchen that's just for that.
Only for that. So that's going to be a huge project for us. And hopefully the next 6 months will be done, hopefully.
So you mentioning the food truck, is the food you're going to serve for the food truck going to be a lot of the food you serve at your restaurants that you own?
Yeah. So we're going to use it for weddings too, where we can go in and do alcohol or beer out of it as well. And maybe you want like snacks after the wedding's over. But then we're going to also take it where we can take it to your work. And if you love the brass ring and you want us to bring the brass chicken sandwiches and our big juicy cheeseburgers to your employees, we can go to your work and cook them hot and fresh right then and there. Whether you're in Evansville or Kentucky or wherever, we can take that food truck to you. Or flip side, you want us to do fried chicken for your wedding and you have 400 people. Us making fried chicken here and taking it somewhere else an hour away, it could get cold. It could do a lot of things. We can take this food truck and take it to the wedding and cook it right there on site so it's nice and fresh. So it's just going to really improve our food that we take to people because we're delivering some of the food an hour and a half away.
Wow.
So we're a pretty large area right now. So
that's awesome. That's amazing.
Catering like crazy. For example, we did 3,500 people last week in catering. That does not include any restaurant. That is just catering offsite.
And was that all together or one group?
That was a mixture of both.
Oh, wow.
Both restaurants, different groups of people. So it's large.
The catering's doing very well is what I'm hearing.
It's going very well.
So does entrepreneurship run in the family? Because obviously Olivia Alston is reopening the ice cream shop in Hopstadt. So is that something that's kind of been is that the next big project on site?
Yeah, that's our next big one. I have been born and raised from self-employed people. My father and mom owned a trucking business for years. They own rental property. We also own rental property. They own a lot of rental property. They've always worked for themselves. I've never seen my family. My mom ended up a long time ago working for St. Joe's School, but they've always worked for themselves. They've always owned their own stuff. So I've always just been taught that that's what you do. My brother owns an excavating company. He works for himself. We just work for ourselves. My grandparents worked for themselves. They owned a skating rink. They owned trailer courts. They owned a trucking company. They owned a concrete business. My cousin Jake owns a concrete business. Like my family we work for ourselves. So,
gotcha. So it's kind of just run through and now it's onto your kids too.
Now Parker and Olivia. Parker just launched his little lawn mowing business and Olivia's got her cleaning business and her ice cream business. So
gotcha. So have you been in any helping her with the ice cream shop, Sugar on Main? Sugar
on Main, yes. So we have done some of the work and some of the help with her. Obviously, she's in 1,000 things at school right now. Junior year, I think, is probably the toughest year. So we're trying to have her survive that right now. She's doing all of the social media. I'm not looking at the schedule. I'm not booking anyone to work over there. That's all her. She's doing everything. The only thing we're doing is helping her with the construction piece of it. She's getting our vision. We're making it happen. And then she's literally paying us back for all of it. So it literally is her ice cream store. So we're not those parents. My dad never handed me anything on a silver platter. He may help us, but then you have to pay him back. And we're doing the same exact thing with her. So she is doing it all. We furnished some of the money, but that money is going to be divided over so many weeks and she's going to pay us back on it. So it'll literally be her own deal.
Real life sitting her.
Real life. She'll sink or swim, but I know she'll swim.
That's good. So honestly, thank you so much, Lauren, for sitting down with us. This was awesome. I'm glad we got a lot out of you, and I think it was a great time talking to you.
Well, I'm sorry I don't have to think of useless talent, but I'm gonna have to think about that one.
Well, maybe we'll edit it in.
Yeah, you're gonna have to put it in there. I'll have to come up with something dumb here later.
So yeah, thank you, Lauren.
Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Whitledge Tree Service, for sponsoring this episode. For local residential and commercial tree care, specializing in hazardous tree removals, utilizing two of the largest tree cranes in the tri-state, turn to Whitledge Tree Service. Thank you again.